This film study video is going to be a look at some Isaiah Likely film from 2022, his rookie season, and then my attempt to kind of try to project or predict what I think he'll be capable of in 2023 with all the additional weapons, wide receivers that the Ravens have brought in either through free agency or the draft. Specifically speaking about Zay Flowers, look, I think Isaiah likely is an interesting player. I'm going to call him a prospect. And here's why. I thought there was some games that highlighted his skills, but really what you see with him is potential impact if he's given a number of opportunities. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times we being fans and people that try to analyze the game, we judge players based upon production. How many total catches did they get? How many total touchdowns did they get? In the case of judging Isaiah Likely's 2022 season and even looking forward to 2023, those numbers are clouded or will be clouded by just opportunities. And look, there was times in 2022 where he got more opportunities than other and produced. You had the big catch against the Dolphins in week 2, which I'll show you here in a moment. This is his patented move against the Bucks, which failed, quote unquote, against the Jets in week 1. You had the touchdown against the Steelers at home in week 17. Huge impact against the Bucks in this game here, a road win. Touchdown catch a week later against the Saints in week 9. Then an 8-catch, 103-yard performance against the Bengals in week 18, the regular season finale. And that was generally against the Bengals starting defense. This is another example. This is Lamar's, scramble that was ridiculous to convert a 3rd and 8. But look at the separation that Likely's gained here. Let's pull this back to the beginning and watch how he does it. This is his patented move. Basically a club with the outside arm to knock or push or influence the defender into the middle of the field, taking advantage of his size, 6'4", 245, 250. Lamar turns this into a first down on his own. Let's talk about Likely's season for a moment. Only 36 catches on 60 targets. So not the greatest in terms of production. Maybe not impressive to you. But I'm going to kind of explain away some of it. In 3 of the games that I mentioned, the Bucks and Saints games on the road in midseason, and then the Bengals in the regular season finale, in all 3 of those games, that's the only 3 games where Isaiah Likely played more than 50 snaps. It's the only 3 times he did. Surprise, surprise, those are 3 of the games where he had the largest impact. In the rest of the games that Isaiah Likely played in 2022, he averaged 18 snaps per game. Opportunity. All he needs is opportunity, and I believe he'll produce. 50% of his catches went for first downs in 2022 as a rookie. I don't pretend to know the average for receivers and tight ends, so maybe that's not a great number. Feel free to let me know if you don't think it is or if it's in fact not. Same play that you just saw from the end zone angle. He did have a difficult start to his NFL career in terms of the regular season after dominating the preseason. I think he played 2 games in the preseason last year, and it was clear that he did not need to be on the field. I know I said it, and I know other people said it as well. Like, I don't need to see Isaiah Likely anymore. I don't think he played in the 3rd preseason game, but I could be wrong. He just didn't carry that over in week 1 against the Jets. You're going to see what I think is a great challenge by the right corner for the Jets left on our screen, which is DJ Reed. Very underrated corner, if you ask me. Ahmad Gardner gets a lot of attention, as well he should. But DJ Reed makes a great challenge here. But week 1 against the Jets, Isaiah Likely's patented move, he ended up, in the path of a ball possibly intended for Mark Andrews. Some confusion there. I would call this a difficult drop because I think Lamar's intending to protect him by throwing this ball low to protect him from the safety who you see has made contact with him. In today's NFL, the ball was dropped. The safety's not going to make impact. They're being taught to pull up on some of these plays or at least see that the ball is dropped. So there's no reason to hit the guy. You can see that the safety is here. I think Lamar is protecting him, throwing it low intentionally. Either way, you have a rookie tight end who's being targeted by a player the caliber of Lamar Jackson on a 3rd down. Isaiah Likely didn't take advantage. Like we said, it was a difficult start to his NFL career in terms of week 1. Didn't convert, but he was trusted by his quarterback. Week 2 against the Dolphins, you have this big play up to the top side. We'll let it run a couple of times. It's a designed route. It's a wheel route by Isaiah Likely out of trips. I would call it an anticipation throw by Lamar, but anticipation throw to me is kind of a weak term to use a lot of times because on some of these designed plays where they think they know the coverage, if the corner sits, I'm going to throw it over top of them to the wheel route. The safety is going to be occupied by another vertical. That it's an anticipation throw. It's an indication that Isaiah likely is trusted by not just Lamar, but also the coaching staff. Now, having said that, after this in week 2, you had a quiet 3 games in a row against the Patriots in week 3. He had a designed catch early on, like a Y-hide concept, little shovel pass for 8-yard catch. Then against the Bills, I don't think he had a single catch. And then the Bengals in week 5, I think he had 1 catch for 7 yards, and you'll see that a little later. Thereafter, he started to get things going. For his size, he's just got a unique ability, and it kind of showed it on that last play against the Dolphins, to catch the ball and smoothly transition to being a runner. So you can see here on this 3rd down, I think it's a 16-yard gain. His only catch in this game against the Browns, by the way. He's got a great ability, if you ask me, to catch the ball and then already have determined where he needs to cut or where he needs to make a move to make the first or the second defender miss. I don't think every tight end in the NFL has that. I think most NFL football players do because they've spent time playing running back or doing drills, that require them to change directions. But to me, Isaiah Likely seems to be really good at this against starting caliber players already for a rookie, basically adding another 5, 6, 7 yards to the catch, to the play after making the catch. And he seems to do that smoothly. Now, look, he will get favorable matchups depending on what offensive personnel is on the field in 2023. Seen him make a lot of these plays here. This one is a 3rd down that doesn't convert the 1st down. And in fact, I think the Ravens go for it on the ensuing play and don't convert, but I could be wrong. Seen him make a lot of in-breaking routes like this one. I would call this a Mark Andrews route, but also simultaneous to that, besides a lot of the in-breaking routes, his patented move sets that up well. His little club to the inside and then run back to the sideline like I showed you against the Jets and like I showed you from the same game against the Bucks. I think it really complements that patented move, his size, his speed to go over the middle, his catching ability, his ability to make people miss. Not every iteration of an in-breaking route on 3rd down or his patented move, his club from the outside and break to the sideline is going to work. Not everyone's going to work, and I like to show some that do not. In fact, this is another 3rd and long thrown underneath, I think for a 6-yard gain, or maybe actually a little less than that. My apologies. One aspect to bring up, I think, that has to be brought up about Isaiah Likely, and I think it comes up when you talk about Zay Flowers being drafted this year as well. And it's a little uncomfortable, to be honest with you, because I happen to think very highly of Rashad Bateman. I do not think that Rashad Bateman is a guy who's going to be injured every season. I don't think he's a guy that I don't think he had injury trouble before coming to the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that. But if you look at Likely and Andrews, and you look at the drafting of Zay Flowers, there's positional versatility there. You got guys, well, on this play, for example, Likely and Andrews are lined up in the slot, but we've seen plenty of times where Andrews is lined up out wide to either side. I could have shown you the amazing catch that Andrews had on a 3rd down against the best corner for the Falcons last year at home up the right sideline, but I will not. Point is, these guys can line up anywhere. In the event that Rashad Bateman goes down or isn't ready 100% by week 1, you have 2 guys who can move up the ladder or down the ladder, whichever you want to call it. Now, this isn't a great example for Isaiah Likely on another 3rd down. You see him being hit as the ball arrives. Probably not going to get the 1st down anyway. It's a smart blitz by the Steelers off the slot. Just a little hot check down to Likely, and the safety's there. Perfect timing to stop the completion. I've shown you this one once already, his patented move. We'll let this run through a couple of times while I go over my point. Rashad Bateman could not be ready for week 1, or he could be injured at some point during the season. Or another player, Mark Andrews, OBJ, whoever could be unavailable in a given week. The Ravens have created, through drafting Isaiah Likely last year and Charlie Kolar to a lesser extent, and then drafting Zay Flowers this year, they're in a great situation, if they're all healthy, to be able to use positional versatility to make it damn near impossible for defenses to match up through formations and multiple personnel groups. Also, the original point I was making here, if 1 or 2 of those guys goes down, they have enough depth to make up for it. Look at what happened last year. Well, to a larger extent, look at what happened last year when Lamar went down. We had a lot of difficulty scoring a lot of points. I do think that Tyler Huntley was playing injured last year. I think it's quite obvious if you look at how he played in the playoff game after taking a week off, basically having 2 weeks rest by not playing in the regular season finale. But same thing applies to Rashad Bateman. Look at the points per game and the dip when he went out, when he didn't play. I know he didn't play against the Saints, and we had played well against the Bucks a week before in terms of points, and we played well against the Saints in terms of points as well. But without Rashad Bateman, totally different offense in terms of the passing offense. Without Lamar Jackson, the last version we saw of the Ravens in 2022, the one that lost in Cincinnati in the wild card round, was clearly compromised, and I think that still applies to when Rashad Bateman wasn't there as well. Something like that happens in 2023. We've got the players and the depth to make up for it, and I think Isaiah Likely is a big part of that equation. His ability to adjust during the play here is what struck me at the time and still strikes me. He did not play in a spread passing offense at Coastal Carolina. If you're not familiar, I can't blame you if you're not a coach, but they ran a multiple spread option offense, meaning unique, complex option blocking concepts, run game. And Isaiah Likely did play a role in that facet of Coastal Carolina's offense, but he also caught the ball. I think he had 19 touchdowns in his career, but that number might be wrong. But this right here, how quickly he did this, how quickly he adjusted during the play, and I'm going to make a larger point with the last play I show you here in a couple of minutes, struck me at the time and still impresses me now. You got a linebacker, Devin White, in the window. Lamar's already moved on. He looked here initially, and that's why Devin White jumped this. Lamar moved back to the other side, decided nothing was there, and he's correct. Scrambles out, Devin White goes, and Likely just sits down. He's a smart player during the play. Some guys are smart when they talk, players, human beings, whatever. Some guys are smart when they write. Some people are smart when they sing. Isaiah Likely is a guy who's smart during the play. Great hands here on this short little catch, if you ask me. You may not be as impressed by Isaiah Likely as I am, because he had 36 catches, no problem. I think the offense this year is going to be more complex in the pass game, and I think Isaiah Likely, with his ability to make people miss after the catch, really good hands, which I think I'm illustrating by this play, his ability to adjust during the play. I think he improved his blocking as a rookie during the season. His play in this Week 18 game, like I said, 8 catches, 103 yards. And this came against the starting defense for the Bengals. Like, those are starters out there. They were generally on the field for most of the game. The game was in hand by the Bengals, don't get me wrong, in the fourth quarter. But Isaiah Likely had an impact, not just against second stringers, although I do think Dax Hill played more snaps in this game than he had prior to that. But I could be wrong. I know he played a lot down in Tampa Bay earlier in the year, and Dax Hill's still a talented guy. I'm a Dax Hill, fan, to be honest with you. I always liked him out at Michigan. But in any case, look, Isaiah Likely makes chunk plays. A 6-yard catch or a ball caught at 6 yards depth. Maybe this is caught at 8 yards depth, so my math is a little wrong there. He's able to add another 4 or 5 yards onto quickly. He's a bull to tackle out near the sideline for corners. He's agile to juke people, around the bottom of the numbers to the hash. In this case, you have a starting Mike linebacker, very underrated football player, Logan Wilson, that he's just trying to truck on like a third and I think 13. The Ravens don't convert it, and I think they don't convert the next play either. Another example of going forward on fourth down, kind of coming back to haunt you because you really would have liked to have those 3 points later. Ravens scored on the next possession after this one, by the way, and then ended up losing the game by 11. Really would have been like to only be down 8 later in the contest, but be that as it may, look, chunk plays, smooth during the catch, makes contested catches, again, against starting caliber defenders in the NFL. If he was on another team, Isaiah Likely might very well get 120 targets and make 80 catches in a season and have 8 touchdowns, somewhere around in there. I think that's what his potential is. The ability is there. Let's put it that way. I don't think that's going to happen next year, though. He's not going to get that many opportunities. He may get half that. The 60 targets that he had in 2022 might be what we see this year. I think you'll be talking about increased efficiency. How many catches do you get like that? Who knows? An amazing catch that still impresses me to this day. I was recently on Ken's show for Film Study Ravens. Not sure if he's released the podcast yet, but really something cool that he brought up. What's a good season and a great season? So if Ken listens, or if anybody messaged him, I'm stealing his idea here at the end of this video. I won't do it consistently, but I'm going to start with a great season. A great season for Isaiah Likely would be 65, 70 targets, 45, 50, maybe 55 catches. So a high catch percentage and 7+ touchdowns for me, just because of the number of opportunities that will not be there based on how many guys are going to get the football. Another example, and I'm going to show you the third and final one in a moment, of him adjusting during the play. The Ravens run this often, little snag concept, running back out into the flats. Maybe he turns it into a wheel. Maybe he just runs it out into the flats. And then the tight end or the number 3 receiver from the other side running over the top. You got multiple options, 1 and 2 over here, and then potentially, 3 with the tight end, and maybe that route's not drawn up on the exact path. But in any case, look at what Likely does. It's not there. He's, for whatever reason, we're not throwing the football to Kolar, even though he's open. And Likely immediately adjusts, brings his route back to the middle of the field. This is what he does. He's got a great ability, if you ask me, to adjust during the play. You can see his touchdown against the Steelers. I guess he had 3 touchdowns last year. I think I misspoke and said he had 2 earlier. Big target, deals with linebackers and safeties well. I think he's got very good hands. The 60% catch percentage. Some of those balls are uncatchable. I don't blame players for having a low catch percentage unless it's a guy who's like 45% or 50. Then you're talking about. But the difference between 60 and 64% as a catch percentage, I don't think is actually that large. But in any case, potential steal as a 4th-round pick, you're going to see the amount of separation from the end zone angle that I show you here in a moment for this play. Same play, end zone angle. Let me know what you think. Good season, great season. I'm moving on. Good season. 38 to 45 catches, 4, 5, or 6 touchdowns. And again, I only mention that because of the number of targets. I think he's going to get, adding Zay Flowers, adding Nelson Aguilar, adding OBJ, Charlie Kolar being healthy, for a larger percent of the season, hopefully the whole season. Rashad Bateman being healthy, for that matter, for the whole season, is going to limit the number of opportunities that he has. But look at the separation that you've got here between where the ball is thrown. The defender has absolutely no chance. Why is that? Well, because it's a very good throw, but also because Isaiah Likely was able to get himself open on outbreaking route down there. Tremendously capable football player. I'm a big fan, as you can tell. I'm going to let this one run a couple of times while I talk about it. I've shown you what I think is him adjusting twice during the play to make himself available for pass plays, both of which were catches. I think there's a third time, a play that I did not use that illustrates the same skill. This one is a design pass play. You got Duve in motion. The ball's going to be snapped and hit him. Watch the routes that we're running and then the pass sets by the O lineman. This is a pass play. This is not a designed jet sweep to Duve. Duve just happens to be the kind of guy who the football finds. Pass sets by the offensive lineman, routes being run by the receivers. Duve picks it up, runs for a 13-yard gain. I don't know if it goes down it probably goes down as a fumble recovered, I think. And I don't even know if it goes towards his rushing stats, but look at Likely. Likely's running a route, a little snag route. Watch what he does. Not only does he have the wherewithal and the desire to go block, it's not a huge block. Well, that's because that's how the game is refereed now. If he came back and peeled back on the defender and KO'd him, which is part of the game, unfortunately in the NFL and college football, they've tried to legislate it out of the game, and they're trying to do the same thing at other levels of football. But look how he does it. Uses his back in a passive manner to basically avoid the big hit. He's intentionally avoiding the big hit. This is on a pass play. So pre-snap, he's looking at running a route, trying to get the ball thrown to him, trying to make himself available. During the play, sees, Duve got the football. He may have thought, daggone, Lamar threw the ball to him quick. That's pretty quick for the ball to be thrown, especially Lamar to be chasing it. Point is, Likely adjusts that quickly and determines, okay, I see where the open part of the field is, the sideline. I think Duve's going to go there. Let me get there and then make myself available with a block that is legal on top of all those things. I think he's a super smart dude, and I think he has had limited opportunities as a rookie last year, some of which he didn't sometimes he did get opportunities and he didn't capitalize on them. Sometimes maybe he had growing pains, like getting in the way of this ball, which probably was intended for Mark Andrews. But point is, the guy's got a lot of ability. And as our, I mean, sixth, seventh, eighth best option, I actually don't even like those designations for real because this guy could be a whole lot higher on that ladder because of his physical size, his ability, his catch, his hands, how smart he is during the play, how much he adjusts on a different team with less options around him. Isaiah Likely, I think, has the ability to be a 70, 75, 80 catch per season guy. Let me know if you agree with my good season, great season designation. Shout out to Ken at Film Study Ravens for the idea to include something like that near the end of a video, like the segments that him and I did together last week. And let me know if you think that I presented you enough facts to let you know that Isaiah Likely is a super talented guy and can add a lot of flavor and a lot of chunk plays to this Ravens offense, along with all the other talent that's there, which is a lot, if you ask me. Appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoyed the video, please comment, once the video posts up to let me know and help the video uh, kick the algorithm for YouTube, excuse me. And if you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this content, please consider grabbing the link to the video, sharing it out on social media to help the video get more reach.